Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion, our coach, Coach Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, Coach.
How you doing,
All right,
Coach?
good afternoon, man. Doing great. How you doing today, Pat?
I like what's going on there. What do you got behind? Is that me? I think I see me. Is that me up there?
You're going back to the Berg, yes. I thought we'd let's jump right into this thing here. We got,
Get right in.
here, I'll make it a little bigger for you. Oh, I hit the wrong button.
It's all right.
You see that thing?
Yeah, I see that thing. Is that me? I see Permanis there. I see
Permanis, yeah.
Down the
You know,
strip.
every time I get on the show, Connor and Ty, all you guys are always talking about odds and everything. So I was just trying to fit in. And I thought, well, what the hell could I come up with? And I thought, well, what are the odds that Pat's going to be at Permanis after midnight? So we put that out there, and you're 2-1 favorite. They're getting ready to take off the field. So, and I just thought we would recognize you and going back to Pittsburgh, because I know how fired up you got to be, and you definitely got to hit Permanis when you get back to the Berg.
Yeah, I certainly will, especially down there in the Strip. Whenever Nick got married, we stayed in the Strip. We did a couple laps around there, you know, for the nostalgia days. Yeah, we used to be roaming those particular alleys there at certain times of the night. You know, there was certain situations. But it always felt as if you got a Permani sandwich. They got great pizza as well. Nobody ever talks about their pizza. Their pizza is phenomenal. It's an Italian thing. It's in Pittsburgh. The pizza's going to be great. But you have that 2:33 a.m., Coach. It was funny how you all of a sudden just came back to life and felt amazing and went to bed. You know, it was kind of like a nightcap there at Permanis, and I appreciate the fact that you understand that city. You went back a couple weeks ago. Was that your first time back? Long time? Because it felt like you got a little bit of a parade there as well.
No, I try to get back here about every 6-7 weeks now. You know, in my off year for sure. But yeah, definitely. I mean, Permanis for me was many decades ago, and really the history of the place. My understanding, it really opened up because of the trucking industry down there at the Strip District and the produce yards back in the day, and then became a spot for after hours eating. And then obviously they've done a phenomenal job since then with their expansion. But a lot of great memories down there at the Strip.
Well, everything's on the sandwich because we don't have a lot of time. Okay, we don't have time to eat the side alongside the sandwich. Allegedly, it was all placed onto the sandwich. The French fries, coleslaw, everything on top of the sandwich. So it was just one quick meal as opposed to everything on the outside, which I think is great indicative for what Pittsburgh is. Hard-working town. Hey, hard-working town. Football town. I think this weekend's going to be epic. And, yeah, thank you for giving me a little love there. I think that's a fatter version of me, you guys. I think that's a fatter version of me. Yeah, Coach. I think.
No. Obviously we blew it up because we wanted to make sure we highlighted part of the picture. So, yeah, that's not the scale.
Okay, I appreciate you doing that. All right, let's talk some ball, shall we? Tonight, AFC East, Jets taking on the Patriots. We just got done talking about the glory days of the Patriots with Rob Gronkowski. What are your thoughts whenever I say his name? And obviously, he was the youngest player on the top 100 team for the 100-year NFL anniversary. What do you think it says about Rob, and what are your thoughts on him as a player?
I mean, dominant player. You've already stated, but when I think of Rob Gronkowski, let's just go back to Pittsburgh. I remember the first time I heard about Rob when he was at Woodland Hills High School coming out, and I think he went out there to University of Arizona. So I think he, and I know my time in the NFL, is by far the most dominant and a pure Y tight end. I mean, the play the way he played on the line of scrimmage, and just New England in their heyday with the 12 personnel, he was just always such a force, and just the connection that him and Tom Brady had was probably as good as there's ever played the game as far as tight end and quarterback connection. And you watch these guys go through their career. Obviously, a great player in New England, but there's a play that stands out to me. I was coaching the Cowboys, and we were playing Tampa down there in Tampa, and there was a play down by the red zone where Tom just came right back, I think, on his third step and just frickin' ripped it. And we practiced it all week, and the timing and precision of him throwing to Gronk, the timing of it, because his catching radius, and AJ could attest to defending this, is just, it's ridiculous. So he's just a guy that was always open, and and that's the connection that they had. And I really like the point that you made, because it doesn't go. It doesn't get talked about enough. He was a dominant run blocker. I mean, he was a dominant player at the line of scrimmage, and you see the highlights of him catching touchdowns, running people over. But he did it on first, second, third down all the way through, and was a phenomenal red zone threat.
I don't like that he's the keeper of the light tonight if I'm the New York Jets. Let's talk about the game. It feels like Drake May and Mike Vrabel are going to be special for the next 20 years. Josh McDaniels has come out and said, I like being with Drake. My family likes being here. Head coaching thing's sweet, but I'm in a good spot here. Drake's 23 years old. This could literally go on for 2 more decades if they play their cards right, which we assume they will. What are your thoughts on this current New England Patriots team? And does it remind you of the last Patriots team, or kind of how do you view this particular squad?
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think you could, the similarities are definitely just jump out at you for sure. To be sitting there at 8-2, super impressive. I think giving credit to Mike Vrabel and also the personnel department there. They got young guys that are playing right now and playing at a high level. So and I think that's even more exciting to me as I watch them because they're 8-2, but there's definitely a lot of growth. You start with the offensive line because the line is always, when I'm looking at this type of a matchup, you start with the offensive defensive lines, and I think both the Jets and the Patriots have committed resources to their O lines, and definitely will benefit from it moving forward. But Drake's playing at a high level, but there's definitely still things that he's only going to get better at, and I think the fact that the point you made about Josh being there, if you can keep the quarterback in the same system, I just know personally from working, watching Joe Montana go through, his whole career in the same system, Brett Favre and Rodgers, and it was really a decision that we made in Dallas to keep Dak in the same type of system and so forth. So that continuity for him will pay huge dividends, and they're off to a great start. Really love what they're doing on offense, and I think clearly defense is the strength of the football team. And and I like the way Mike's built this thing because when you look at the way they play, the way they're built, when you're top 5, top 10 right out of the gate in year one, and both running the football and stopping the run, that plays well for for playoff football and puts you in that championship formula of how you want to play, especially up there in New England. So really like everything I've seen the last couple of days on these guys, and definitely there's room for improvement. You look at some of their negative plays, ball on the ground and so forth, but when you play the Patriots, over these last decades, they're going to fundamentally sound, always good tackling team, very matchup conscious. I think Josh does a great job schematically, week to week challenging you. And I think for a young quarterback, you're always able to give him key throws early in games. You see some of them those big play action gains that they're hitting early. I think that's a real tribute to the way they approach the game, and it definitely helps them get going because they play out. They get out in front. That defense is real.
Yeah, the defense is real. Let's talk about Vrabel, and we just assume that his defense is going to be good with Mike Vrabel. How do other coaches view Mike Vrabel? Because obviously he gets fired from Tennessee out of nowhere. We're all kind of taken back. He goes to Cleveland on a year as like a consultant. That's where he's from. And then the New England Patriots job opens up, and every New England Patriot fan was like, yup. And it sounds like Vrabel was like, yup. Because whenever he went into the Hall of Fame up there, he said, there's nothing like this place. It is special. You need to know that. Feels like he's back at home in the right spot. How do you guys view him as a coach? That's a good football coach, right? That's just kind of how everybody views him. Is that how you guys talk about him in the coaching world?
Definitely. I'm just how I view him. I think he's an excellent coach, and things I've always looked for, whether you're competing against another coach as a coordinator, as a head coach, the consistency. He definitely has been consistent in the play style that he demands from his football team, both in Tennessee and New England. It starts in the run game. We all want to run the ball good. We all want to stop the run. And he's done that in both places. So I think the way, the identity and how the team's built, the personnel is definitely reflecting that. So, the personnel department and coaching staff are clearly on the same page. But I think he's definitely playing to the climate of the Northeast and I think all those things are important. You look at Drake May, he is built for New England football. It's, something we always talked about a lot, and it's something I truly believe in. When you have Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, long arms, big hands, you want your guy to be spinning it better than the other guy come December and January in those big games.
Yeah, and Drake can run his ass off, too. Yeah. He led UNC Tar Heels in rushing and passing, obviously, I think his sophomore year, whenever he was there. He didn't win the Heisman, but, that's because UNC was...
won 6 games.
Yeah, their ass. But he's been special a long time. And then, obviously, on the other side, go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, Coach, what about their opponent tonight? They're playing the Jets, and we got guys like Boston Connor saying that the Patriots are going to win 42-0.
They will.
I think he actually believes it. Like he's saying that will happen tonight. I guess, what's your outlook on the Jets this year and obviously moving forward? They traded some very, very key pieces away at the deadline. But what's, I guess, the rest of this season look like for the Jets, you think?
Well, I think, number one, the Jets are in year one, and I know also New England is too, but I think the Jets have more going on. But I start with their offensive line. I do like the way their young guys are playing, and I think it's going to be, a good line moving forward, especially starting with those two bookend tackles. So, so they're trying to do it the right way. Breece Hall's, I think he's a dynamic runner, so they definitely have something to build off of too. So, I'm not sure if you guys, I don't know who's going to play quarterback tonight. So you have that going on. I think it's a team that's learning how to win. They've won their last two games, and obviously the return game was huge last week for them in getting that victory. So I just see a team that's still going through some, mechanics and things like you'd like to maybe experience more in the beginning of the year. Obviously they lost, Quentin Williams at the trade deadline, so that's definitely a force in the middle of your defense. So just they have a lot going on. I made the mistake of talking to Connor this morning, and so I'm feeling the pressure to pick New England with the points. I do like New England
A lot of
game,
points.
but I'm going to say it. We say it every week. Division games. That's a lot of points. That's
Don't screw this up, Coach.
All right. Oh, yeah, shit. Okay, I'll take it. I'm going to take the points with the Patriots.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
We
Yeah.
got to pick. Okay, now if you were to be picking Thursday night football games, and obviously we missed one, you'd be 6-3. This guy's good. 75% hit rate is not a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing. And Coach likes the Patriots and the points, but he was accosted this morning by Connor on a phone call. Is that how you would describe it there, Coach? I would. I was there.
Brutal. Yeah, just brutal. I was just checking in and make sure we're good to go. And I mean, we talked about the Patriots, I think probably 90% of the conversation.
Yeah, and I made some
I wanted to
salient
talk about Pat going to Pittsburgh. I mean, all I heard about was the Patriots.
Well, listen, that's been talked about too much, that's been talked about too much. The Patriots tonight kicking off Week 11. I think it's a primetime opportunity for this new Patriots team to say hello, too. Like, that's how I'm viewing this. Like, legitimately, I think we know it more, I think, personally, because we got Connor. Like, I think we, as a show, potentially have talked about it a little bit more. Nationally, I don't think everybody fully understands. I think they see the record, and they're like, wow, that's a good football team. Then you watch them, it's like, you see Drake, it's like, I can't believe this is his second year. And he's 23 years old. And then Vrabel's coaching in between plays, like literally in between plays. He's coaching a very young team. It's like they seemingly have a lot of upside still, and they're a great football team.
Well, and that's why I like the kind of showing everybody everything will be great is because Drake May is the one that does steal all the headlines. I mean, naturally, he's the quarterback. But, like, when you watch the defense play, they punish people. I'm not kidding. Everybody needs to watch Bob Spillane tonight. You need to watch number 14 on defense. He tackles so hard. It is the greatest thing every time watching the Patriots. And the greatest thing is watching Drake May. Let me say that.
Okay,
aside from Drake May, watching Bob Spillane fly around that football field with an all-black visor with his sleeves and just screaming through holes is and not to mention when Milton Williams gets in the backfield and makes a play. Christian Barmore is celebrating before the tackle's made. When Christian Barmore gets in the backfield and makes a play, Milton Williams is already celebrating. It's one of the most fun brands of football. If there was a bet out there for the New York Football Jets to finish with total negative yards, I would take it because of how great this defense is.
Listen to what he's saying, Coach. 42.
Oh, my God. This is unbelievable.
I know. People are watching. Football gods are watching this right now, and there's a chance that all of it happens from what we've seen from the New England Patriots. All right, let's talk about some different stuff happening around the NFL.
Wait a minute, I want to change my bet. That marketing campaign's making me nervous. I mean,
go ahead.
It's still just a football game.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not,
Take the point.
I'm going to be a good teammate here, Connor, but it's one game. It's on a short week. It's a division game. That's a lot of points.
A lot of points for a division game.
So, and I like everything that's been said about New England, but it's still pro football, and I think we all get caught up in the feel good stuff and all the good stories and so forth. But it's the ultimate team game. It's still 11-on-11. It's so damn hard to win a football game in the National Football League. That will never change.
I don't believe it. I'm told they should win by 12 and a half points, Coach. That's what I'm being told.
Yeah, no, I picked it. I picked it.
Don't back down, now, Coach.
You win by 2 touchdowns. You win by 2 scores in this league. You've had a hell of a day. You've had some things go your way too. So, but it's difficult to win in this league.
Okay, difficult to win this league. You have done a good job of winning when picking Thursday night games, if you were to be picking Thursday night games. So we're certainly excited about that. But to your point, New York Jets are a professional football team.
Mm-hmm.
There's 11 guys.
They got good players. Yeah, they have some good young players.
These guys, best football players you've ever met in your entire life, are lined up on the New York Jets. Your friend that you know from high school that was really good at football, and then he played in college, really good at football. Yeah, these guys, all of them, 10 times better than your friend that you saw at football playing for the New York Jets tonight. Okay, so if they're able to piece everything together, they can beat anybody. And that's probably the messaging and the thought of what they can become over there with Aaron Glenn. But I just think tonight is a showcase night for the New England Patriots and who they're going to be for the next 20 years maybe, which is...
Gives me chills, man. I mean, I'm legit.
Yeah, but what do we do? What did we do?
Cool.
Hey,
I was in Pittsburgh growing up watching this shit. Then I come and play for the Colts and still here in the Colts, and it's just always been, seemingly.
But you have also greatness on the horizon. Let's not act like the Colts aren't the 1 seed, and Danny Dimes is not 28, and Jonathan Taylor is not 26, and Quentin Nelson is also not in his 30s. Or wait, he might be 30, actually. Whatever, you get it. The Colts are also in a prime position. If anything, and I hate to do this to the guy, but we need to kind of direct our attention at how shitty the Steelers are looking down the barrel.
Whoa. No, they got a lot of ideas.
Oh, I can't wait.
AP Tone has a question for you, actually. I don't know why he did that, Coach. I don't know why he did. Game day's going to Pittsburgh. I don't know what
we're doing.
Hey, it's because we're back, baby. That's it, all right? Look, I just spent time in Echo Company, okay, and their nickname's the Evil Empire. What's New England called back in the day? The Evil Empire. I know the Steelers and Colts and Broncos and Patriots, like we are looking at the old school kind of times in the AFC. And I don't think the Steelers are going anywhere. Just want to clarify that. I just want to shit talk Tony for a second there. But
it's good part of the game.
There are a lot of good teams, but there's legitimately no team primed for the next 20 years better than New England. I only say 20 years because Andy Reid's 70. He might coach till he's 95.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Patrick Mahomes might play till he's 50.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I might eat poop. But right now, I can say that with confidence.
Okay, let's move off of the New England Patriots and New York Jets tonight. A lot has been said, and obviously it's all great analysis. And it needs to be said, especially in sports conversations. Let's talk about some other NFL storylines. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Coach, while we're talking about young and talented, we had some unfortunate injuries to young and talented rookies over this last week. Obviously, Travis Hunter of the Jags with a knee injury. Not a good situation there. And then Jaxson Dart with a concussion with the New York Giants. How would you handle those situations? Because there's been a lot of talk about it. One with Jaxson Dart and running the football and not getting down and taking a bunch of hits. And then Travis Hunter, the whole story the whole time has been, can he play both ways? What are your thoughts on those two situations?
Well, I think, number one, they're two separate situations. But, in the realm that we're talking about it, I think, risk assessment is something that you're thinking about all the time as a head coach. How their practice, the integration of going from a backup player to a full-time player, playing both sides of the ball, the reps, the wear and tear. I think GPS has been a tremendous tool that's been used. I know we started using it, back in the 2010, 2011. So I think you just being smart in every player is a little different too. So I think you got to look at all those things because you're talking about two young men that should have great careers in the National Football League. And, injuries are a big part that can set back, especially a quarterback. You look at the number, I saw a stat, being viewed, 5-6 times and never how many games he's played. That would be concerning for sure. So, I mean, you risk assess and it happens to, every quarterback. I mean, quarterback, pay scale. When you start paying a quarterback, $5 million to $60 million, you need to have a conversation. Those are things I don't think you don't run your quarterback, but I think you can be more selective when you run them too. So I think that's a constant thought process that really probably doesn't it's not talked about outside the walls of a coaching staff or outside the walls of a GM, head coach, owner, relationship. But you have to. I mean, it's the business side of it is real, but these young men are going to play a long time, and you don't want to see massive setbacks when they're just getting started. So I think you're always looking at how you can integrate, how can you best utilize these guys and let them get going too. Because the thing that I've always been amazed with when you look at a young player, he gets ready for his senior year or his last year in college. So all the training that goes into leading up to his senior year. He has a great senior year. So obviously excited about the opportunity potentially going to the NFL. Then he's got to go train for the draft.
Bowl
So it's a
game.
whole different thing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Senior Bowl, also, whatever.
Yeah, that whole gauntlet, and then boom, he gets drafted and selected. So then he goes into an NFL situation, and now the training's different and so forth. I mean, it's clearly the longest year and a half of their life, and the toll that it takes, both physically, mentally and emotionally. I mean, you have to factor those things in. I think that I've always looked for the jump that players would make from year one to year two. A lot of it's just naturally because year one is so damn hard, transitioning from college to pro football. So, all those things are elements you got to be in tune with, which everybody is. I'm not saying they're not, but it's a grind. And when you've got promising young players, the risk assessment is very important.
I mean, just to echo your sentiment even more, because I've talked about this a lot, because the rookie wall is a thing that is real, that happens about right now in a season, because there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and we're really far into this thing. You talk about the last year of college, they started spring ball there. Okay, we started spring ball, let alone the winter workouts that are the worst part of it all in college. But let's just say spring workouts there. Then you got summer leading into training camp. Those workouts are impossible. Then you have training camp, full training camp. Then you have full season. Then you have one of those bowl games. Then you have to work out for your pro day. Okay, so then after your pro day, then you got combine happening in there. Then for the workouts, you got to travel around, go meet everybody, hopefully, still work out. Then draft happens. Then you got rookie mini camp. Then you got spring camp or whatever. Then you got summer for a couple weeks. And then you got training camp. Then you have your longest season of your life where you've never played this many games. You got 17 games, and oh yeah, you're a rookie. So all the preseason games too. You're playing in those as well. 3 games there, then 17 there, and then if your team's good, okay, we got another potential 4 at the end of that. So it's like that rookie year, to your point, if you survive it, I think that offseason, the next one, you can really jump mentally, I think, because you're fresh, but also body gets a new feeling. It's the fact that you're thinking about that as a coach, I love to hear that. Legitimately, I love to hear that because everybody has to go through it, but it does suck for everybody, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And frankly, then once they get through all that, if you just look at the situations that occur, in February, March, and April, if you look at the rookies that go through that year, some of those guys, may get in a little trouble, maybe go to a party or two too much, maybe hang out at Permanente too long. But they should. After the damn year they've been through. So no, it's a cycle. There's a lot of data there you got to pay attention to it. And so when you see young guys getting hurt, it's just, I know it's just something that you're always thinking about because, a head coach to me, the 32 head coaches in the league that, they get to compete on Sundays, but I always felt the biggest competition is, how do you train your team? How do you schedule your team? Are you having those conversations, and just being in tune with each guy and risk assessment of how you utilize them is definitely part of those conversations.